Welcome to the Gleeful Meeple, a podcast all about board games where strategy meets laughter and owning the alphabet still won't help you with spelling. In this episode, we ask ourselves, what board game would we or wouldn't we want to be Jumanji'ed into? We're reminded that words are hard in this week's game of the show, Letter Tycoon. And you, the Gleeples, get to play along as the hosts get put in the hot seat with this week's game challenge. Did you hear? The alphabet is up for purchase. You better buy that patent for the letter F, otherwise you'll be left with a bunch of ducks.
Nice.
Hey, fellow Alphabet Enterprises.
So what where you're going with F?
Hi, James. It's Emily.
Hey, James. Dwayne is here.
Hey, it's still JK.
It is still JK. And I have a bunch of letters formed into a line to form a riddle for you guys.
Well, James.
Yes. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's just the name of this game, where goods are traded from land to sea, and gods look down upon you, their favor not for free. Not much of a looker, it will freely admit, but from Rome to Hispania, the map doesn't quit.
I have a guess.
Oh, you are both at the same time. Do you secretly write it down and share it?
You go ahead because I'm still struggling. I know the game, and I'm struggling on the name of it.
Is it Concordia?
It is Concordia.
Yeah. I could have gotten there eventually.
Nice.
What gave it away?
The not being a looker.
Oh, yeah.
That is a game that when I first was considering adding it to my collection, I picked up the box and just went, oh, hell no. This game is not getting in my collection. There's no way. And I think it was John had a version of it that I played and went, wow, this is a phenomenal game. And it's still one that I love to bring out to events, but there's that curve of getting it to the table and people see it and go, nope, not playing that.
Yeah, you have to sell them on the game first before you even convince them to play it.
It's still prettier than Ethnos, so.
This is true.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, if you want that classic trading goods in the Mediterranean, right, Euro game, that's it.
It's a very good game.
But it's so good.
Have you played it?
I have not played it.
Yeah, we got to get that on your list.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the new version of Jeopardy?
A little pop culture Jeopardy.
Pop culture Jeopardy.
With your host, Colin Jost.
With your host, Colin Jost. It's so good.
It's really good. Is he having fun with the show, or is he annoyed with the show?
I think he likes it, but there was one episode where he just came down on Amazon hard and then continued to berate them the whole time.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of funny.
Okay.
It was like maybe he just got off a bad call where they weren't doing season 2 or they fired him as host, and he was letting them have it.
So I've got some feelings on this show. I like the 3-team. There's a 3-player format.
It's a great idea for Jeopardy.
Yeah, a couple of the teams they have playing, it's pretty clear that there is an alpha person on the team, and there's 2 that got on the show to be there for moral
Some
support.
of them even freely admit during the interview and the opening interview that, yeah, I'm the third wheel.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
wow.
just got brought on.
Yeah.
It's a lot of husbands, wives, and so's. One of my favorite things on the show, though, it was around episode 8 or 9, I think, when they're interviewing them, this one team was like, how did you meet? And they're like, we met at different like quiz bowls throughout our area. And then they get to the next family and they're like, how did you meet? We're family. I'm like, oh, one of these teams is genetically engineered to win this game and the other team is not.
Yeah. I mean, when you say pop culture, I don't think it's inherently easier than Jeopardy,
because it can be so broad.
It's just a different set of knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, you could run these same questions by people who are awesome at Jeopardy, and they wouldn't know any of them. They just you spend your time I think internalizing different types of information, and pop culture is its own thing.
I spend a good portion of the time I'm watching the show screaming at the TV about music and comic book questions that they don't have an answer on, and I'm like, it's not that hard. Come on, people.
There are some that are questions that are dropped by all the teams. I'm like, wow. But you know what else is cool about the show that they don't have on regular Jeopardy is, what do they call it? The triple play?
Yeah.
That is such a great idea, because the way it works is they ask the question and anyone on the team can buzz in. It's a 3-part question.
Anybody from all three teams.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Anybody from any of the teams can buzz in, but then from the person who buzzes in. So, let's say that the question is, what are the name of Donald Duck's 3 nephews? From the first
really
person
weird
buzzes.
that you came up with that example because that was exactly the example that was going through.
It's
my
the one
head.
that I figure it's something that
Like
everybody
mines.
can do.
Yeah.
But if the first person buzzes in, they have to give one, and then the next person has to give one. The next person in
Yeah.
order. So a lot of times people will buzz in and not really consider their team's knowledge, and the team won't make any points off of it because they get one, and the next person fails, and they lose the money they just won.
Yeah,
really interesting.
And at least if the first person gets it right, you won't lose any dollars.
Correct.
Because I mean, the way it works is you get double points of whatever the clue was worth for each one you get right. But so if the first person nails it, they get, let's say that the clue was worth 200, they get 400 points. But if the second person doesn't get it, then they lose the 400 points.
Yeah.
So net zero. But then another team can
pick up the other one. Yeah.
But if you get all three, you get triple the points for the clue 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've seen a couple teams that do that, and Dwayne, you kind of called this out. That first person that buzzes in wisely gives the most obscure
Yes.
of the
Yeah,
three.
that's the way to play it.
Setting up the other
That's a good
players.
idea. Yeah.
Oh, real quick, my favorite one, because I usually do not get all 3 of them on the triple play, but they asked in the final song in Hamilton what follows the question who, and so it's who lives, who dies, who tells your story. I was like, that's a great question.
Aw.
I think the other wrinkle it throws in there is usually whoever chose the clue, got the previous one correct. And so that's a benefit of getting a clue right, is that the next clue right is kind of just for you, but it goes to everybody.
Yeah. I thought the fun one, there was a question of what is the sound effect that Wolverine's claws make when they're leaving his hand?
Snick.
It's snicked. and the guy said, oh, it's snick.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, no, you're wrong. And someone else got it because it's snicked with a T.
That's obscure.
They go to commercial break, and their research team had been poring over all of these comics to find out that there was an obscure reference in like an Alpha Flight comic where it said Snick.
Alpha Flight.
They gave him credit for it.
Wow.
Can I tell you all one more fun Jeopardy fact? Because I have done a lot of research on Jeopardy in the past, if the answer is already a question, you do not have to form it as a question. So, like, what is Bugs Bunny's catchphrase? You can just say,
What's up, Doc?
What's up, Doc? And not what is what up, Doc? And also, it does not matter. The question that you form does not have to be grammatically correct, as long as you give it as a
You
question.
can say, who is what's up, Doc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Sorry.
Well, guys, yeah, if you like trivia and stuff, check it out. It's awesome.
And if you're listening to this show, there's a chance you do.
Yeah, exactly. But our discussion topic for today is something that, I don't know about you guys, but part of the reason I play board games, some part in my head, there's a little bit of escapism there.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
What are you trying to escape?
Dwayne, life is
world
hard.
as it exists right now.
Life is hard.
Work.
And I need to go sailing and join Wonderland and, just, have some fun for a little while.
Be a superhero.
Yeah.
Roll some dice and battle each other. But, there's escapism, and then there's like, what would it actually be like to be just thrust into this world of whatever board game it is? Kind of if you were to Jumanji yourself into a board game.
Oh, God, there's some horrifying ones.
There's some scary ones.
100%.
But there's some fun ones, too. So that's today's topic.
All right.
What games would you or wouldn't you want to be Jumanji'd into?
Okay.
And why?
So let's just eliminate the obvious one right here, because there's obviously a clear answer here that I bet is going to be on all of our top 3 at least. Anything in the Cthulhu verse is out. We're
That
not
was first on my no list.
We are not going to go be around the elder gods.
I think about my players and I'm like, okay, what do the investigators go through? Okay, they go insane. They get stressed out. They fight the elder gods. Yes. They can catch fire. And I'm like, I don't want to do any of those things. So
They can go insane, yeah.
something that would be a great movie, but living it would be incredibly stressful.
And very rarely do you live through your experience in one of those games.
Oh,
So
yeah.
no, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes even when you win, you perish.
What would be, so if we take Cthulhu off the board, James, what is the number one game you would not want to be a part of?
Ooh, taking Cthulhu off the board. I got a few. Number one, though, probably Dead of Winter.
Okay. That would make
Fair
my
enough.
list as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never played. It is zombies, right?
It is zombies and
Yeah.
cold.
Well, let's just go ahead and throw out all the zombie games. We'll let your answer stand because we're coming up with a lot of new rules. But yeah, I don't think there's any zombie universe. I'm not one of those people who kind of like has a fantasy about getting to shoot zombies. So I'm like, no, that just
You don't
seems
have
like
a apocalypse fantasy?
no, that seems like a lot. So
It is a lot.
All right. Well, if we'll take off all the zombie ones off the table, one that's more unique, that's probably at the top of my list, is Nemesis.
Ooh.
What's
Oh,
that
yeah.
one
Okay.
about?
Trapped on a ship with aliens.
With an alien.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no,
It's
thank
basically
you.
Aliens, the board game. It's
Yeah.
not called Aliens, the board game.
Okay.
Yeah, that does not sound like a fun time.
I was thinking, mainly because it's top of mind because I've been playing it so much recently, but Legendary Marvel would be one that I would not want to be Jumanji'd into, especially with like one of the masterminds can, some of the villains can destroy city spaces. And so it's like, I don't want to be a superhero watching like my city be destroyed.
Much as I love superheroes and the environment, that did not make my list for most favorable places to go because there's a lot of collateral damage in
No, that's why I'm
superheroes.
saying I wouldn't want to be Jumanji'd into it. Like, I think about all of those memes and skits about like, hello, like you've called superhero insurance.
Yeah.
How can I help you? Oh, Hulk smashed your car. Okay, let me check your claim. Like,
Yeah, I mean, what if you got Jumanji into that and you weren't one of the superheroes?
Yeah.
You were just one of the people in an office space, 20 stories
bystander.
up.
Yeah.
Like, there's no guarantee who you're going to be when you get dropped off into it.
There's a philosophical idea, I think it's called the veil of ignorance, where if you create a society, you don't care what position you have in that society. And as fun as the superhero universe sounds, I'm like, yeah, but I don't know where I would land if that were to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is not an ideal society.
What about you, Dwayne?
So mine is actually a game I've been playing a lot of lately, and it's Thunder Road Vendetta, because all you do is die in that
Yes.
game horribly and often. So I think I would let that one slide.
You wouldn't want to get trapped in a Mad Max universe?
No, thank you. I'm not even a car guy, so like just the idea of like having to install guns, I'm like, that feels like a lot.
But
I
are
do
you a
not need this.
helicopter guy?
Oh yeah, I like playing the helicopters. I don't really like, in my mind, it seems like there's an inordinate amount of helicopter crashes, and so like riding in a helicopter is just not something that I want to experience. So yeah, Thunder Road Vendetta, great game, but I don't want to live there.
I think for me, I like my modern conveniences too much. So, pretty much you can jump into any game that is pre-1960s and I'm not going to be happy with it. But I'm going to go to the extreme and say, I don't want to be in Stone Age. That would not be a fun environment for me. I am not a hunter, nor am I a gatherer. I would be the guy that gets eaten by the saber-toothed tiger more than likely.
No, you're the philosopher.
There you go. The jewelry maker? No.
Maybe.
No.
Just go get the wood collector.
Yeah.
Well, I also, based off of recent, experience in the real world, don't think I'd want to get trapped in pandemic.
mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those like, okay, I've lived it once. That's
a little
enough.
spot on.
not fun.
Yeah.
So we used to play board games in my office, and the last game we played before the shutdown was Pandemic.
Were you like aware of what was happening?
I want to say not really, not to the level
Okay.
because for me, like if I go back to that time, what I remember is like, oh, there's a bad virus that, but that happened, like bird flu. Like, we didn't really have a lot of experience with that.
Don't will that into existence now, Dwayne.
But then when I heard schools were shutting down, I'm like, that doesn't sound good. And then I heard Broadway was shutting down, like not National Broadway, but like New York Broadway. I was like, that's unusual. But then when I heard the casinos in Vegas were shutting down, I'm like, that's like the Waffle House index time.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah. And never shut down.
Right? That is nuts. And I actually got to see some cool video from like inside the Bellagio with everything. There was no
Just
one else in
empty.
there.
Yeah.
That was really eerie, kind of like apocalyptic stuff.
Ugh.
The last one that I would not want to be dropped into, Blood on the Clock Tower.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Any social deduction game was in my no list. cannot deal with deception.
Yeah, but I mean, there's just so much lying and backstabbing and death.
You have this,
and
you have
I mean,
this
it's
small
just every
village.
night someone's dying.
You have a small village where at least one person is going to die every night.
Yeah, it's a messed up village. I don't want to live there.
Yeah, like Blood on the Clock Tower, like legitimately, like as a game, stresses me out. I can't imagine like being Jumanji'ed into Ravenswood Bluff.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Well, I'll make this argument for that, though. If you would have to tell me what my options are, because Blood on the Clock Tower doesn't seem that bad if I can be like, well, I'll just get out of this town. Problem solved. Like, there's a demon running rampant. Let's pack up the wagon or whatever.
But that's not an
means
the
and
wagon.
conveyance. What's that?
Use your first night power, and then I'm out.
Yeah,
Peace.
yeah.
See you guys.
See ya.
Hey, I mean, unless there's other towns in the lore of Blood on the Clock Tower, there are no other towns. Dwayne. That is the game.
Oh, yeah, that's a
the
good
world
point.
of the game. You're assuming there's this world map you can leave and travel to.
But
Well,
as a
there are
ghost,
outsiders. If there are outsiders, where are they coming from, James? Where are they coming from?
Okay, maybe you got me.
even as a ghost, you could still talk to people. I mean, at least you'd still have a social life.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So maybe that one's not the worst case scenario, but it's bad.
It's still too much deception for me.
So I guess the recurring theme of ones we want to be dropped into is
Ones
death.
where we die.
Anywhere you're
Hey.
going to die. Yes.
Speaking of death, I put bomb busters on mine. You cut the red wire, you're done.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. All right. So James, circling back to you, how about the positive
How about
experience?
some positive experiences? Well, I'll start with a grouping of games.
Okay.
So it's a lot easier to find things that you might want to jump into, but it can be fun. But I picked kind of a grouping of games of pleasant gardening experiences.
Oh, yeah?
So if you don't know much about me,
If our number one is the same, I'm going to punch you.
so I have 4 games in this group. 4 games in this grouping. That if you don't know me, I'm a big gardener, a vegetable gardener. So I have a big garden in our backyard. So games of that theme usually attract me. There actually aren't as many great ones as you might think. But my grouping of games I would love to be dropped into that relate to this are Meadow,
Okay.
because that's just
Not a surprise.
pleasant.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're
that's
building your habitats.
You're building a habitat. You're walking through. You're discovering paths, finding trinkets and
Treasures.
You're just in a meadow walking around. That's it. You're just discovering animals and critters and all
Now,
that kind of stuff.
would you want to be Jumanji'd into the river expansion?
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. That's a great question, Emily. Yeah, why not? You don't die on the river. You always make it down the river.
Yeah.
So yeah, get
just
some
go
kayaking.
kayaking, see more sights.
Yeah, and then if you throw in the new expansion, the adventure book, there's even more fun things to do. So yeah, Meadow would be a blast. Tang Garden.
Yeah,
Is
that's pretty.
Also making it's during the Tang Dynasty. You're making a garden and little pagodas, and you're designing a garden inside the Tang Dynasty. That'd be super fun.
And I'm pretty sure you can't get Tang anymore, so that would be a fantastic way to have that vague orange flavor again.
Do they not make Tang anymore?
I don't think so. I want to say that this is something that I thought about at work one day and had to look up.
We just need to go into space more, and then we can bring it back.
JK, does this mean we have a new sponsor?
Yeah.
We might have a new sponsor.
I'm looking.
While you're looking, my last 2 are Takanoko. I mean, it's a bamboo garden, and you have a little bamboo running around eating bamboo. There's a gardener in the game, literally doing gardening, and I'm just a pleasant game of building a bamboo garden. And the last one is 3 Sisters, which is literally about gardening in your backyard.
Oh, okay.
Compost and all that kind of stuff. So that's my pleasant gardening. What's one more than a trifecta?
Quadfecta.
Quadfecta?
Yeah, we're
A
gonna go with that for
quadfecta.
now.
Sure. We're gonna do it.
Sure. Going on with like the outdoorsy themed, I had a few of those as well. I had parks and trails, like just love walking up and down, seeing the sights of the parks. And I put summer camp too, because it just reminded me of like just my childhood of like going to a summer camp, getting to do all the outdoors activities.
Not summer camp
there.
1.
Nope. Horror movies. Nope.
No, not the horror movie summer camp.
God, they should do a horror expansion for that game. That would be
That would be interesting.
That would
Yeah.
actually probably sell really well.
Yes.
What a out of the blue expansion.
But those were my outdoorsy ones, and another one, it kind of in a similar vein to Thunder Road, but I think would actually be really enjoyable, is Robot Quest Arena. So it's a game about like battling robots, and I feel like if I was Jumanji'ed like as a pilot in a robot, I think that would be a lot of fun.
Do your robots explode in that game though?
Yes, but in my Jumanji,
Yes, but.
we always live because they keep coming back. It's you just respawn.
Oh, there you go. So I thought about a game I didn't put on here, but in that mindset was Slay the Spire. Because you respawn every time, right? So you get you die and respawn and level up over and over again. That'd be kind of cool.
So yeah, Robot Quest Arena I think would be really fun.
All right. So I've got two that I've been thinking about. One is going to be like my least favorite in the Welcome to series, but it would be Welcome to Vegas because you get to experience Vegas in the 60s. What a fantastic time to be in Vegas. Ride around in limousines, watch hotels being constructed. Seems like a lot of fun.
Is the mob represented in that version of Welcome to?
It is not represented, but you know they're there. You know they're there. All you have to
Their
do is
presence is felt.
And all you have to do is just not run afoul of the mob. Don't count cards, don't cheat in the casinos, that kind of thing. So no sweat there. And then the other thing, just because I think it is the most picturesque version of a beach trip, is Santa Monica.
Okay.
Your nice little beach community with your boardwalk and everything. Yeah, that would be.
See, that's what I was thinking of Cape May for that similar reason.
I was too, but that's mostly like I have a weird obsession with lighthouses. I don't exactly know where it comes from. It might be because Excalibur was the first X-Men book I read, and that was their base of operations. But like anything with the lighthouses, very cool to me. So that one did cross my mind as well.
Cape May also has some randomized disasters that roll through the game too.
It does. So I'm like, that one's a little bit too real lifey, not quite picturesque.
How randomized? Like a hurricane or like a Godzilla attack?
It's mostly fire because fire was legitimate to Cape May. A portion of it did catch fire in its history.
Put that fire with all the other fire.
Yeah.
It's like Iki all over again.
That's what like all the location ones. When I think about those, like Cape May, Santa Monica, whatever, I'm like, do I just need to travel? Like, is that what I'm like? My brain is telling me.
Yeah, fire.
Just buy the board games. You'll get what you need out of it.
Got it. Stay in my house. Heard.
James, you did not get punched today. You did not manage to lock onto mine. Although I thought about a game for very similar reasons. Very serene, very pretty, very non-violent. And I'm going to go with Everdell as the region that I want to go to. A lot of cutesy animals. I think there's only one expansion that deals with kind of like an element of darkness, which is the one with the spiders in it. Everything else is pretty.
What
pretty
animal
pleasant.
would you want to be in Everdell? Or would you just be like the human that walks among them?
That would be fine. Yeah. I don't need to change into an animal.
Will someone on this show help me get a play of Everdell in?
You've never played Everdell?
I have never played Everdell.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. We have so many versions to choose from now.
Yeah.
Another one I'm going to give as a backup, which is kind of like the antithesis of what I said before, where I like my modern conveniences. I want modern conveniences in a game, so why not go live in a utopian world created by all of these forward-thinking people? And I'm going to say Skyrise.
I was thinking about that
up
too.
In the air. That would be fun.
It's a pretty game.
Yeah. And then just for a third one, just for fun, Grand Austria Hotel. I want to go to a place where people ply me with food and wine, and then say, "Hey, we like you. Come stay in our hotel."
So that was definitely on my list, but I'm like, I
thought
talk about
it.
that game way too much, and so I'm just gonna let that one go. But yes, that game is. I just love the beauty of like living in a hotel, and that would be neat.
Another one of my positive ones is I kind of went another direction as well of like, go back to the escapism thing. Like, I want to go on an adventure. So like if I did get dropped into a world to have an adventure with, I chose a few different games, but one of them is Sleeping Gods, which is in that same it's in that same world as Near and Far, Above and Below, from Ryan Lockett. It's the world of Arzium.
I've not played it, but when I hear the phrase "Sleeping Gods," I'm thinking Cthulhu-esque.
Mm-hmm. Part of the game is you're battling, little monsters and things like that. I haven't played it yet, so I don't know if there's a big bad that eventually you get to. I think there is.
Okay.
But it's just this version of the Arzium universe, and this game is an open world game. You kind of get dropped into it. You can go wherever you want. But Ryan Lockett's built a really fun world with like gold, all kinds of different creatures that just aren't your normal creatures you find in other fantasy places.
Okay.
So
that's what I was thinking. Adventures too. And I was like, oh, it would just be amazing to just be Jumanji'ed into an adventure type game. And so I picked Too Many Bones. And that one has a lot of like kind of can be scary combat, but usually I'm like a ranged fighter. I was like, I'm just a bomber. I'm going to throw my grenade from afar. I'll be safe. You guys handle it.
That is a fun little world. Yeah, that's a good one.
How about you, Dwayne?
Oh,
Anything
I tore through mine too very quickly. And that's it. There are only 2, and there will only ever be 2 for me.
I was about to say, yeah, going back to Las Vegas, like seeing Dwayne in Las Vegas is like a kid in a candy shop. Like it's the way his eyes just light up.
The only other one I had, and this kind of goes against what I initially said, but World's Fair 1893. If for no other reason is it's the Chicago World's Fair, and I grew up in the Chicagoland area, and a lot of the key areas right along the lake, the Museum of Science and Industry, the Field Museum, are all buildings that actually were created during the 1893 World's Fair. So I think that would be fun to see that.
Wow, Illinois gets those buildings from their World Fair, and we get the Sun Sphere or the Wig Sphere. So fantastic.
Who wins? I have one wild card and then just one more normal one for the adventure side of things. My adventure one, I don't know. I think it would be a lot of fun. Is Clank. Anything in the Clank universe.
I put that one in my no column because I think that would just be too scary for me.
That's like a quiet place.
Because it's like, exactly. I was like, first of all, you're not going to find me in a cave. Like, I'm not spelunking. I'm not going into a flooded, like, I was thinking about like the Sunken Treasures expansion.
Oh, yeah. So when I thought of it, I did actually think of Clank Legacy.
Oh, and I haven't done that one yet.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're not really, it's more fantasy. It's in the Penny Arcade universe, but universe, the Acquisitions Incorporated. So just the story in that game is super funny and hilarious, and I don't know. I think it'd be a lot of fun to, if you think about that game and all the cards that come out and the characters that are a part of it. It's just
the characters are great.
Yeah,
they sure are characters.
That's why I think Clank would make a good movie.
Yeah, actually,
like
really
it would make a great adventure movie. But as far as living in it, it terrifies me.
Yeah, and then my wild card, which is probably a really bad idea, is Wonderland's War. I don't know. Sitting at the Mad Hatter's tea table would just be an experience. I mean, you run the risk of your head being cut off by the Red Queen.
I was about to say, I was like, I haven't played that one, but I know there's combat in it. And
it's really colorful and bright.
And it's called crazy. Wonderland's War.
Yeah.
Of all the Alice in Wonderland worlds that I'd like to visit, that one is a nice one. It's very pretty. Did anybody play American McGee's Alice, the PC game?
No.
I've seen it.
It is a very dark take on that world. I'm like, yeah, I'll take Wonderland's
War.
That's the one. Thank you. I'll take that over American McGee's Alice version any day.
I've never read it, but I've always heard that the actual original writing is pretty dark, actually.
I feel like it's pretty common for any of like the fairy tales. Like you think about like Grimm's fairy tales versus Disney, and you're going to get two very different.
Like, a lot of us grow up with Disney stuff, but then the actual writings, when you read them, are like, "Ooh, that's not fun."
Yeah.
Man, I mean, so many worlds to choose from.
So many cool worlds.
Yeah,
it's too bad we don't have enough time to visit them all.
Oh yeah, that would be like. Okay, I would take America Chavez from Marvel United and use her to jump around to all these other worlds. That would work, right?
The board game
my
multiverse
logic is sound.
Is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Which board games share an Earth in the multiverse? That's I'm gonna have to reorganize my collection.
And that'll be an episode for a different day.
Oh my gosh. JK, I do dream of the day when someone comes in and goes, How are your board games ordered? By their section of the multiverse.
Yes.
Take a seat. Let me take you on a tour.
All right, Gleeples, this episode's game of the show is Letter Tycoon. Letter Tycoon was published in 2015. The designer was Brad Brooks, and the art is done by Mackenzie Schubert and Peter Vaughn. It plays 2 to 5 players, but is at its most gleeful with 3 players. JK, please walk us through Letter Tycoon.
Letter Tycoon is a word-creating game, very similar to Scrabble or other games in that genre. In this one, all players are going to be dealt a hand of 5 cards. they can then take those 5 cards and use 3 available community cards to make the longest word possible. Scoring is generated by making at least a 3-letter word, and then gets even better the higher you get. If you can get a 7-letter word or an 8-letter word, you're not only going to acquire more points, more money, but stocks. And those money and stocks are what are going to win you the game. What makes this game even more interesting is that after you create your word, you can then look at the available letters that you used in that word. There is a stock market consisting of each letter of the alphabet. Each letter has a certain price. Some of them are just the standard letter. Some offer additional powers for owning that letter. Once you have that in your possession, anytime someone else in the game uses that letter in their word, you are getting an earnings off of that as well. Pretty simple. Spell some long words, use your brain, make the most money, and win the game. That's Letter Tycoon.
Words are hard.
Words are hard, James. I think that's something you and I agree on. But Emily, I know this is a game that I have seen you bring to the table quite a few times. So tell us what is it about the game that makes you enjoy playing it?
I feel like I'm on trial.
I feel like that was
Emily, why do you like this
Defend
game?
your case.
I enjoy it for I think it scratches the same part of my brain that like Wordle does. It's just coming up with words. Like, it's a very simple, easy to explain game. I'm like, everyone knows words, but apparently everyone in my life hates spelling them. And it's like, it's so simple, and it's like becoming like a tycoon. It's usually, I don't like the businessy type games, but I'm like, you put spelling to it and you don't focus too much on the stocks and the patents and whatever. And I'm like, okay, this is just like really pleasant. I like trying to figure out what words I can come up with. Yeah, just like the puzzle aspect, I like just enjoy.
So here's the problem I have with this game.
Go on.
And it's not just this game, it's with word games in general. Okay. And as I look at my collection, as I was kind of pondering this discussion, I think I only own one word creating game.
Letter Jam?
Illiterati. I only own Letter Jam. And here's kind of the way I want to illustrate this. So if I sit down at the table and I'm going to play Grand Austria Hotel with you guys, since we've already talked about that this episode, I know that Dwayne knows the game intimately, so I'm already at a disadvantage there. I know that James and Emily are deep strategy thinkers. You guys will really like ponder what you're going to do each turn. I'm at a disadvantage there because I'm more fly by the seat of my pants. So I'm already at a deficit for what I can do in the game playing against you. But the fact is, everything I can do in the game is laid out in front of me. And as long as I can find a path there, I have a shot at winning. In a letter or word creating game, not only am I bound by the game rules, but I'm bound by, is my vocabulary as good as yours? And so I think people that have a deeper vocabulary have an intimate advantage in that game that the game can't account for.
So, I think that's a larger conversation just about word games in general. I'm similar. I actually like words. I like I like language. I like writing, but having a large verbose vocabulary. I think you have your word games like Scrabble that are 100% dependent on the person's vocabulary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just your knowledge and your vocabulary. Yeah. Then you have the board gamey version of word games where the game is centered around building words, but there's enough game mechanics attached to it that support someone who doesn't have a great vocabulary, because it's also about the gamification of vocabulary, not just so like paperback and hardback. It's a deck builder, but you have special powers and things like that where like you can do a 4-letter word, but you're triggering special powers that give you more buy power, and you can get away with not having an amazing vocabulary.
But to that point though, if we're playing Letter Tycoon, I've got my hand of 5 cards, there's 3 on the table. There could be an amazing 8-letter word there that's going to score me a ton of points. I just don't know that word. And so to me, it never registers that it's there.
But the points aren't always as important if you could do a 4-letter word that gets you more gamey stuff to support you later. I think that those are my favorite word games where it's not dependent on words.
I do think Letter Tycoon has some mitigation factors by way of those $2 patents.
And I definitely, I used it.
Spoiler. Because that's what, like, James, I think, like, you were the most successful I have seen at that strategy of just, like, some of the patents are, like, earn double if your word begins and ends in a vowel.
Yeah.
And so it's, like, if you get, like, a 5-letter word that begins and ends in a vowel, like, you're earning a lot of money. That money can then be used to buy a higher value patent because you'll get your royalty the more times it's used. I felt like I would get my patent and then suddenly everyone is avoiding using a word with like the letters I have patented.
I feel like my tile, I think it was B was the letter that gave me that power, if I remember
think so
correctly.
too. Yeah.
And man, it's got to be broken. I mean, it did so good for me that, I mean, I guess it matters. I just also happen to be getting vowels available to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, I would hunt for that B every single time I played the game, probably because of that experience. It just seems so powerful.
That's what, like, I've had that one before, or the one where it's like half of the word is vowels and it did not pay out as much. Because it's like I've had games where it's like, and this is where I think this is a game that does have some luck to it, like luck of the draw. But it's like I've had those patents before where it's like I can't even get anything to work for me to do this. I've had the V patent allows you to spell 2 words, and so I've had some luck there.
I think you had that one, Dwayne.
I think I kind of wiped a lot of the memory playing this out of my mind.
But that is the piece of this game that I do like, the patents, because of that, JK, is that it's not just about your word knowledge. There's other things supporting what you're able to do. Like I could, do a smaller word that begins and ends with a vowel, and I'm getting double the dollars.
Yeah.
As if it was like a
So-
5 or 6 letter word.
Yeah, so it's mitigating, what if I wasn't able to, put my letters together to form some amazing obscure word that I don't know.
It did feel like, what you kind of mentioned the B. Once you got the B, I think that it may have broken the game, because I think we were all kind of lingering close to each other up until that point, and then you got that and just took off.
I ran away for sure. Yep.
So this felt like homework of the board game for me. If you listened to our previous episode, you probably know from my response that I have played Letter Tycoon before, and I was not thrilled with the selection. Although I will say this, I've played Scrabble, I have played some other Bananagrams, a weird small company game called Palabra that's all spelling based. Of the word games I have played, Letter Tycoon is probably my favorite because there is a very gamey aspect going on there. I just wish, like, it is a skill-based game, right? You are going to... I have no skill for spelling. I have no skill for anagrams, which in this game, if you can look at a bunch of words all jumbled together and kind of put things together, I think you're going to do better at this. Did I say that right?
You did.
I'm just letting you know our game of the show and our next episode is my anagram game is coming back for another round. So go ahead and bolster yourself for that.
Great.
And our game of the
Sneak peek,
show
listeners.
today, our game challenge today might be themed to our game of the show.
But to tie this back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the game, Pop Culture Jeopardy, I love trivia games because, like, my skill set is I remember weird, obscure facts, and
that's what, like, I'm not always a trivia fan. Like,
Right.
I do love trivia, but it always seems that I get the trivia that hits not my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like, just outside of my wheelhouse is the more
And when we
common
play
way of saying that.
when we play trivia games within our group, like, we kind of have rules about who can and can't be on teams together because we know who has that skill
The
set.
powerhouse,
And so,
yeah.
so we kind of try to balance our teams like that. But I just as far as spelling, no, I wish there was a good math board game. I feel like I could really excel at that.
It's called Hadrian's Wall. It's a spreadsheet.
I was about to say, you said you didn't like this game because it felt like homework, whereas last episode we were talking about filling out a test Scantron.
Oh, but those are different things,
Hadrian's
right?
Wall.
Standardized testing and homework are two different things. Homework is something that is a requirement because teachers feel like they have to give it out, whereas standardized test is a chance for you to prove how ever so smart you are.
Dwayne, do you like deck builders?
I do like deck builders.
Have you played paperback or hardback?
I have not, because I heard they were spelling games and I stayed away from them.
I did enjoy. I don't remember which one of the two that I played, but I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I did own that briefly. I think you might you might want to try Illiterati. Illiterati is a little bit different.
I feel like we have played that, but I
Okay.
don't remember anything about the game
Okay.
at the moment. I should write better notes when we play games.
Yeah, I think my top spelling game, not make a list all of a sudden, but Hardback which is a sequel to Paperback, is probably still my top spelling
that's the
game.
one I played.
Wait,
then.
hardbacks are supposed to come out before the paperbacks.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
were they thinking?
they weren't apparently. They're too focused on spelling. But it puts a lot of game on top of it. It's a great deck builder. I'll convince you to play it one day.
Yeah, I'm always open to try something, regardless of how much I hate the principle behind it. But yeah, give it a try. You never know.
This is starting to make a lot of sense because part of why Letter Tycoon is in my collection is like, I just don't see a lot of spelling games out there. And it's because I
There's a
play
reason.
games with Dwayne.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Oh, Emily, we'll always have Marvel Legendary.
That is true.
But I guess so. My final thoughts, I think, on Letter Tycoon is in that same breath of liking Hardback as my still King of the Hill. It is long. Hardback is. That's the only downside to it. Letter Tycoon. One nice thing is that it's pretty short.
It's
pretty
fast.
breezy.
Yes.
Yeah, there is that.
You get through it pretty quick.
Because I think it's a good lightweight game for
It
our
is.
events.
Yeah. It actually works great at events. It's it's an easy teach. You get through it pretty fast. My downside to it is that there's not enough game on top of the spelling aspect to really drive me to want to come back and play it more, because it really is. If I was to give, it's probably 80-20 spelling with game attached to it.
Yeah.
And it's just not enough for me. Like I do like words, but I don't want to keep coming back to it. So it's fine.
How would you rate it?
For me, I think it's going to be a traded away.
Okay.
Like I only need space in my collection for one word game probably, and it's going to be a hardback.
One spelling game.
Okay.
For me,
Yeah,
it
one
is,
spelling game.
yeah. For me, it is also a traded away, and the irony behind this is I'm pretty sure that the copy we played that Emily brought to the table was actually my copy at some point in
Like
time.
two owners ago.
So I think it has already been traded away.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm going to do something weird for this one. I'm actually going to keep it to play,
Let's
but
go.
there is there's a stipulation. I have to be able to get rid of my copy of Scrabble to keep it, because I would so much rather play this than Scrabble, and unfortunately my wife loves Scrabble. So if I could talk her into getting rid of Scrabble for Letter
We need
Tycoon,
to get our wives
I would do that.
together.
Oh yeah, they probably have a great time with
My
that.
wife loves Scrabble.
I think of the two, I would prefer Letter Tycoon to Scrabble for sure.
Oh, yeah. 100%. With that being said, I am also going to keep it to play. It is a game that I feel like I can bring to my family who enjoys some strategy, but not always like Hadrian's Wall level strategy games. So I like bringing it out to play with them. And
Actually, that's a great point.
the
if you have
kids-
people that that like word games,
Yeah.
it's so easy breezy.
Yeah.
It
and
makes,
like the kids in our family are like getting into middle school, and so this is like a perfect all right, what's your vocab now?
As far as amount of pain the game causes, Letter Tycoon is getting a shot compared to Scrabble, which is breaking a bone.
It's just how strongly Dwayne feels about spelling games. But yeah, with that makes it 2 keep it to plays, 2 traded aways.
And I think we've given enough audio clues to know who came out ahead in this game.
It was me. What is happening?
Well
this
done, James.
season?
Hey, season 2 is the season of James, baby.
Yeah.
And that means the runner-up gets to pick the next game. And who is our runner-up?
It wasn't me.
That was me this time.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't enjoy. I didn't hate the game, but I'm good at word games. Hey, we're gonna dip our toes into a new pool, which is game from 2024.
All right.
Oh.
Just narrowly missed the BGG top 1,000 the last time I looked, and I've already referenced it once this episode. I think it's a fun utopian build a society game. We're going to play Skyrise.
All right. That game is beautiful. I'm looking forward to
It's
it.
really pretty. Yeah, it's too pretty for the game that it is, I think.
Oh, wow.
But we'll see.
Okay.
Man, I'm excited. I've wanted to play that, and I almost backed it myself and didn't. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yay.
All right, listeners. Well, if you have any thoughts on Skyrise or any other games we talked about this episode, you can drop your comments to us at pod@gleefulmeeple.com.
So, I think we've talked enough about games that it's time to play a game on air. No, not a board game. Maybe a spelling game. I'm not sure, Dwayne. But a game about board
Maybe.
games. This week, James has brought a game for us to play.
I have, and I thought it would. I'd bring back one from last season, since we have an episode all about spelling and words.
Okay.
Be on theme, on points. I'm sure Dwayne's gonna love it. We're gonna do the backwards name of a board game game.
Yes. I like this one.
I mean, James, this is fair considering how much you hate the games I bring up to the show. So I guess, it's fair play all
I feel
around.
like this is the most passive-aggressive times we get with each other.
That's right.
It is kind of funny.
Now, I am not supplying you with pen and paper, although it could be helpful, or we can just roll. Oh, I see. Emily's got her digital version
I'm ready.
to
Wait,
go.
this is something we can do? All right. Fortunately, somebody brought an iPad with them. Can I do this on notes? Oh, yeah.
This is all good audio.
Fancy.
So-
hey, it's an educational podcast as well.
So the way this is going to work is I have 3 games for each of you.
Okay.
And I have chosen these games specifically for you, although I don't think, you probably know all the games, but to make it fair, especially for those that hate spelling, Dwayne, I want to make games that are easy to pick.
Okay.
If you get your game, you get 3 points. If you don't figure it out, it gets passed to the person to your, let's say, right. Left. Let's say left for clockwise. Let's keep it easy. And if they get it, they get 2 points. If they can't get it, then the next person that gets it get 1 point.
Wait, my left or your left?
It's the same
Yes.
left.
Yes.
Yes, Dwayne.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that checks out.
So
It reminds me
we are
of the
gonna.
Wayside book where it's like, all right, to improve traffic flow in the Wayside School, when you go up, you go right. When you go down, you go left. It's all screwed up.
Side note.
Yeah.
One of the things that annoys me more than anything else when I'm listening to a football game, I know it's not football season anymore, but when the announcer on the radio says Titans moving from left to right on your radio dial, there's 2 reasons that annoys me. One, this is the modern era. There's no such thing as a radio dial anymore. People aren't getting that. But also, they're only moving left to right because he's sitting on that side of the stadium.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to know what side of the stadium they're on.
Exactly.
Wait, is this a thing where
Perspective
announcers
matters.
are always on the same side? I don't know sports
I don't
well enough to
know.
know if
Oh,
that's
cardinal directions.
If there's a consistency there.
So,
No, it changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
anyway. Sorry.
Yep.
Back to you, James.
Back to the game. Also, a friendly call out. The idea of this game originally came from This Game is Broken podcast. Hilarious podcast all about what we're doing right now, game challenges. So check it out if you haven't.
Is that the podcast with Paula Deming?
It is.
Cool.
JK, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
Your first game is Surek Karnoom. Surek Arnoom.
Surek Arnoom. That would be Moonrakers.
That would be Moonrakers. We got 3 points for
Wow.
JK on the board. Emily,
What's up, James?
your first game is a little bit harder. Aid Yam Hatsaed Ulutk.
Okay.
I can repeat it one time if you'd like.
Yes, but I don't want you to summon anything when you do. Okay, try it again.
Aid Yam Hatsaed Ulutk.
What was that last 2 syllables?
Ulutk. There's confusion on Emily's face.
Say it again.
No pressure, but I figured this one out.
I know.
You get one more, and then we'll pass it on. We got Aid Yam Hatsaed Ulutk.
Oh, Cthulhu Death May Die.
Yes.
Wow.
It came in a moment.
Oh, my
Seen
word.
the light turn on.
The stress of like JK staring me down. I'm like, I should be able to do this. I should be able to do this.
All right, Dwayne, you're
I'm
up
passing
next.
to JK.
Your first game, should you choose to accept it or not, is IS Ped Noissim Werk Et.
Oh.
Would you like for me to repeat it?
100%.
IS Ped Noissim Werk Et.
Oh, got it. Wait, what? Oh, yes, I got it. That was the first one I got without spelling it.
Yep. Got
Okay, let's see if I can. That doesn't make any sense. So far, so good. Nope, that is not a word. Let's see if I can get anything off of this.
You enunciate it so strongly that I like try to spell it phonetically, and it ends up with like a bunch of Y's, and I'm like, no.
That's a triangle.
Would you like it one more time, Dwayne?
It's not going to help. So let me see what I've got
No, I do not.
here. Let's see. According to this, it is Taro Mesu Depsi.
Very close.
Dipsy?
You actually are very.
Oh,
Yes.
no, okay. Hold on.
You're
Let me
so
see.
right.
Let me see if I can mad gap this real. Taro Mesu Depsi.
Focus on the last two.
Mesu Depsi. No, it's not.
Oh, no.
It's not funny.
Dwayne, you were going to be so unhappy
All
with
right,
yourself.
go.
We go
for
over
it.
to JK.
It is the crew, Mission Deep Sea.
Oh,
It is the crew.
Yeah.
Deep Sea. I see it now. Yeah. Okay.
So 2 points for JK with the steal. All right, we return to JK. Your next game is Artness Foe Salg Daniats Luza.
One more time.
Artness Foe Salg Daniats Luza.
I got it.
That is Azul Stained Glass of Sintra.
Yes.
It is
Well
Azul
done.
Stained Glass of Sintra.
Well done, JK.
That is JK's favorite Azul.
It is.
It is indeed.
I've been playing that a lot lately. Pulled it back off the shelf,
Yeah?
and Brooke was like, "I really like this game." Yeah, so we've been tearing it up.
Nice.
Specifically Stained Glass of Sintra? Okay.
It's the only one I have.
Nice.
Same. Nope, that's not true. I have the base one.
Why do not
Why
turn
you
this
lying,
podcast
Emily?
into a den of lies, Emily?
Because it's the mini travel-sized one, and I keep
Oh,
forgetting
cute.
I have it.
Emily, your next game is Setar Peu Sirgit. Setar Peru Sirgit. I see pens writing
Is that
furiously.
Tigris and Euphrates?
It is Tigris and Euphrates.
Oh, I would not have gotten that one.
Yeah, I was hoping that would be a curveball, and you nailed it.
I'm getting better.
Well done, Emily.
I'm not writing some of these down. This is awesome. I feel so strong.
Maybe I should say these in a different language. Make
This
it
is my
harder.
Olympics.
Are you not already?
Absolutely not.
Dwayne. This next one for you is. Oh, I got to look through this one a couple
Oh
times.
my
to figure
goodness,
it out.
the face James just made. I'm like, no, I'm done.
Seco Citra. La. Not Naba. Not Naba.
The
All right, say that for me
I'll
again,
try.
James. Okay.
Seco Citra. La. Not Naba. Lots of thinking going on. Is this the one that goes around the table?
Okay, I'm going to make a guess based on part of what I heard. Is it abandon all artichokes?
It is abandon all
yeah.
artichokes.
wow.
Nice, Dwayne.
Thank you.
On
I
the
was
board.
due.
Can you say that one more time?
Sure. Seco Citra. La. Nad Naba.
Naba.
Naba. It was
Naba.
yeah.
Naba.
Yeah,
Naba
yeah.
is what gave it to me.
I got abandon all, but I couldn't figure out artichokes.
I wrote down Mag Naba, And so I was like, I don't think I wrote down the right word.
All right, Dwayne is on the board with 3.
Let's go, Dwayne.
Hey.
Halfway through, we were at JK with 8. 8 points. Emily with 6 and Dwayne with 3.
Let's go.
Plenty of time. for things
JK's
to
never going to let
change.
me steal, though.
I'm
We'll
going to
see.
try not to. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how this one goes. This might be a challenging one. We're back to JK. We have Imag Draub et Asit Kalag Ratseltab.
Okay, one more time.
Imag Draub et Asit Kalag Ratseltab.
That is Battlestar Galactica, the board game.
Yes,
Nice.
it is.
Well done.
I was
Yeah.
hoping the board game piece might throw you for a loop on that. So, unfortunately, we are playing for funsies.
Sad.
It's going to be hard to catch up to JK,
Yay.
but let's finish it out. Emily,
All right.
your last game is Elfuz Seraph. And I'll do that again. There's a tricky one here. Elfuz Seraph.
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 Oh, Forest Shuffle.
Yes.
Yes.
The
Oh,
silent
nice.
T
The
there.
silent
I was
T.
trying
Well
to get
done.
it in there.
Yeah.
Nice job. All right. And last is Dwayne for the win, because this one's worth 10 points for Dwayne.
All or nothing.
Which actually, oh yeah, it would do it. All right, Dwayne. This actually might be a challenging one too. We have Lat Nefiet Fo Snrevat Et. Lat Nefiet Fo Snrevat Et.
Ugh. Okay, I'm transposing some of what I heard.
I'll do it one more time,
Okay.
just because.
Okay.
We have Lat Nefiet Fo Snrevat Et.
Oh, I've got it.
Oh, what is it?
Taverns of Tiefenthal.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. In fact, Taverns of Tiefenthal. When I found that one, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a good one backwards." Just a lot of that spelling.
I know. I was like, I don't even know what's going on. I got of.
All right, in our spelling challenge, we ended up with JK with 11, Emily with 9, and Dwayne with 6. With our winner, JK.
I'll take it.
Great job, everybody! Thanks for playing my game today.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks,
James.
James.
Is that going to do it for us today, guys?
My,
Do we have
my,
any more talked about?
my spelling, my brain hurts. Yes, please let it be all.
We've wrenched all of the knowledge and charm out of our brains and personalities today.
Yeah.
All right.
Nap time.
Let's hear about who's our sponsor today, JK?
Our sponsor today. You know, what do you get for the person who has everything?
Diamonds.
No, you can even go beyond diamonds. They've got enough
a fork?
diamonds. You got to go beyond that. You
A
get
spork.
them. You get them the game from our sponsor today, Consumer Recreation Services.
Oh.
Fantastic company, a little high priced.
Wow.
Discovering the object of the game is the
the-
object of the game.
Oh no.
JK, that's a pretty deep cut. I like that a lot.
What a great time. Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to email us, you can find us at pod@gleefulmeeple.com or on Instagram at gleefulmeeplepod. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Gleeples.